What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Islam Makhachev wants Conor McGregor fight. Lightweight champion Islam Makhachev may currently be in the process of preparing for his UFC 302 fight against Dustin Poirier. However, he has a future fight with Conor McGregor already on his radar. With McGregor set to return to the octagon at UFC 303 later in June, Makhachev indicated while speaking on a recent episode of Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo's Pound for Pound podcast that he would be willing to turn around and fight the Irish star in August or September, depending on how things shake out.
But everybody can finish Conor 10 times. Right now, why not? I don't think he will cut weight. Brother, why not? If people have to be stupid, say no. Of course, I will fight with him. I can fight August or September with McGregor. Brother, easy. This guy not same. I don't want to make him feel look bad, but everybody know this guy not same. Before, yeah, for sure. When he was fighting with Khabib, he's in the good shape, he's a high-level fighter. But right now, it's too much alcohol, too much whiskey, and it's not same. Not same.
Of course, before any potential Makhachev-McGregor fight is a possibility, the former champ must get through Michael Chandler after an extended layoff. In addition, McGregor will also be looking to return to the win column after suffering a horrific injury his last time out, further stacking the odds against him. Next up, let's take a look at Tom Aspinall reveals the truth on UFC 304 fight. UFC CEO Dana White dropped some major news recently, indicating that interim heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall will be co-headlining the UFC 304 card in Manchester this coming summer. While Aspinall is set to fight Curtis Blaydes in a highly anticipated rematch, according to the interim champ, the UFC originally wanted him to fight another contender, Ciryl Gane. In a video for his YouTube channel, Aspinall opened up on the situation, shedding light on how his fight with Curtis Blaydes came to be.
The UFC wanted me to fight Ciryl Gane. I said, okay, the UFC want to do it, we can do it, I'm not bothered. I feel like I'm the champion of the world, I'm ranked #1 in the world, I'll fight anybody. You don't have to talk me into anything. UFC are my bosses, they want me to fight Ciryl Gane, count me in, that's okay, we'll do it. Ciryl, on the other hand, he's out there doing a film. Ciryl is trying to be the French Arnold Schwarzenegger right now. And fair play to him. If he wants to do films and be an actor, go and enjoy yourself, Ciryl. Go and do your thing, make some money, do whatever you're doing. But he didn't take the fight, he wanted to do his film. So, Curtis Blaydes.
Aspinall also made it clear that the reason he's defending the interim belt is because Jon Jones is holding up the division.
Usually, when the champ is coming back, the interim would obviously usually fight the champ. Jon Jones is holding shit up, let's be honest.
The MMA community was quick to react to the situation, as one fan wrote, Gane ducked Pavlovich and Aspinall. Does he want to cherry pick his way to a title shot? Another added, I don't get why Dana and the matchmakers love Gane so much. This would have been the third time he'd been gifted a title shot for doing next to nothing. He should be nowhere near a title. He can stick to beating cans in Paris. As another member of the MMA community wrote, I hate Gane. He journeymaned to his fight with Francis, lost to Jones without even putting up a fight, excluding his low blow, and isn't fighting Tom because he thinks he's gonna hit it big in film. Guy is a joke. One fan summed things up, writing, I don't understand what Gane has done to earn 3 title shots. It's f***ing crazy. With Gane reportedly set to film a movie this summer, between the interim title fight and the upcoming Jones vs. Miocic fight, expected to take place later this year, the landscape of the division could look quite different when he returns. Next up, let's take a look at Renato Moicano reacts to Paddy Pimblett news. Heading into UFC 300, many fans expected a Renato Moicano win to lead to a fight between the fan favorite and streaking Scouser Paddy Pimblett. Despite quite a bit of trash talk back and forth between the two, however, the UFC decided to book Pimblett a fight with Bobby Green. He also notably called out the baddie after his UFC 300 win over Jim Miller. In the wake of Dana White's announcement that Pimblett and Green would be fighting this summer in Manchester, Moicano took to social media to react, writing, not surprised at all, my brother. To be honest, that's a good fight and makes sense. Paddy versus Green. Moicano then shared his thoughts on all the recently announced fights for the card, making it clear that he isn't a fan of the co-main event rematch between Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blaydes. He wrote, how do you guys feel about the matchups for Manchester? I think the most interesting is Paddy versus Green. I don't want to see Aspinall CS Blaydes, to be honest. As Moicano indicated, a bout between Green and Pimblett seems to make more sense for the division, given that he's ranked 10th, Green is ranked 15th, and Pimblett is unranked. Should the baddie wind up getting the job done, however, the UFC could then look into a Moicano versus Pimblett fight. Next, let's take a look at UFC Fight UPDATES. Ahead of this weekend's Barboza vs. Murphy card at the Apex, let's take a look at today's UFC fight updates, starting with an official announcement regarding the UFC Fight Night Louisville main event on June 8th. After previous reports, it has now been confirmed by the UFC that Jared Cannonier will be fighting Nasruddin Imavov in a 5-round headliner in Louisville. The bout will see Cannonier look to build on a 2-fight winning streak that most recently saw him dominate Marvin Vettori last summer. On the flip side, Imavov will look to build on a victory over Roman Dolidze back in February. The following month, 2 new fights have been added to the UFC Vegas 94 card on July 20th, with Cody Durden and Bruno Silva set to compete in a flyweight bout, and Joe Anderson Brito set to fight Dan Ige in a featherweight bout. In the case of the Durden-Silva fight, Cody Durden will be looking to bounce back after a December loss to Tagir Ulanbekov, while his upcoming opponent Silva will be looking to build on a 3-fight victory streak that most recently saw him finish Tyson Nam after nearly 2 years away from the octagon. In the case of the Ige Brito fight, streaking prospect Joe Anderson Brito will be looking to extend his 5-fight win streak, which notably has seen him finish all 5 fights, while on the flip side, Ige will be looking to build on a February victory over Andre Feely that returned him to the win column after a September loss to Bryce Mitchell. Next, let's take a look at Garry TEASES' next UFC fight. Although the ship may have sailed on a fight between Garry and Colby Covington, it sounds as though the undefeated Irish contender could have a fight in the works for the upcoming UFC 303 card, headlined by Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. In a cryptic post on social media, Garry simply used the hashtag UFC 303 and wrote, "Loading." So far, no word yet as to who Garry could wind up fighting besides Covington. However, as he indicated recently while speaking with TalkSport, he accepted a bout against Michael Venom Page for UFC 303. At the time, he was unsure whether the bout would come to fruition, citing MVP and his team's hesitancy to cut weight down to 170 pounds for the June 29th card.
I've said yes. I've said yes to that name. Him and his coaches are deciding because he feels a bit heavy. He's a bit heavy to make weight in 7 weeks' time. But I've said yes.
While it's unclear whether or not MVP has accepted the bout, many fans had been calling on the UFC to add another high-profile bout to the UFC 303 card, given that currently a bout between Joe Pyfer and Marc-Andre Barriault appears to be the co-main event. Next, let's take a look at Paulo Costa fires back at Sean Strickland. While Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa have been preparing for a fight at UFC 302 at the beginning of June, Strickland recently indicated that he's heard Costa has yet to sign the contract. In a video for social media, the former champ called out his potential opponent.
Well, goddamn, Costa. I've heard you've yet to sign that contract. And I'll tell you what, man, I didn't believe it. I did not think you'd be acting like a coward. I thought you would man up, sack up, but instead you're acting like you got ovaries. So I went on the Googler. I did the right things, give you the benefit of the doubt. I went on the Googler, and I noticed something, man. After you fought Izzy, you went downhill. You went off that deep, my man. I don't know what happened in that little brain you have. Oh, do we need to get someone for you to talk to, my man? Do we need to sit you down, have you talk about your feelings? I think therapy's for weak men. But let me tell you something, dude. You're being a weak man. If you can't sack up and make this happen, we'll get someone for you to talk to. Don't disappoint me. Don't disappoint the fans. Let me make you believe.
Costa then responded to the video with a picture of a signed contract emoji along with the caption, "Grab and go, mother effer." This led many fans to briefly question whether or not he had in fact not signed the contract yet. However, Costa followed it up with a poorly photoshopped photo, writing, "Sorry, I fixed that. What a white ex-Latin fight." Despite the trolling, Costa then made it clear that he's in the country, sharing a photo of himself in Las Vegas in front of some mountains. Although the fight is in New Jersey, the fact that Costa is in the US is likely a good sign. Given the latest situation, it's safe to say the upcoming UFC 302 press conference will likely deliver fireworks. Now, let's shift gears and take a look at Joaquin Buckley declines UFC fight. After his call out of Conor McGregor, Joaquin Buckley indicated that, realistically, he would like to compete against Gilbert Burns. In a post on social media, he also notably hinted at turning down a fight against Garry, alleging that the Irish star has herpes on his face. The comments raised some eyebrows around the MMA community, with some fans wondering whether Buckley was simply cracking a joke, or whether he actually turned down a fight with the Irish contender. In a recent interview with Parry Punch, Buckley explained that he did in fact turn down a fight with Garry, and for more than one reason.
Yeah, they did. See, I declined that one though, but I got no. So I got back offers though. So there's another offer that I'm still talking about. So obviously, we still in talks and into details, but it's just things are moving along as they should, right? It's getting to the point where I don't have to hunt down fights anymore. They coming in and they want me to fight. They want me to market myself, and they want to push me even further to get these headliners. You know, so I just feel blessed to be where I'm at right now, and we up right now. Yes.
Do you deny Ian Garry? That's a
I
fact.
definitely deny. I ain't want to catch no hurt. Yeah, man, my man be having a little pop up, because I like to wrestle now.
While a bout with Garry certainly appears to be off the table, from the sounds of things, Buckley and the UFC should have news regarding his next fight sooner rather than later. Dana White gets exposed after lying about Power Slap. Dana claims that Power Slap is beating the numbers of every sport combined together. Here's what he had to say.
This is the biggest, when I say that this is the biggest thing on social media, we started this 13 months ago. This thing has 13 million followers on social media. I've been on social media since I was one of the first Twitter guys, right? I have 20 million followers. This thing already has 13. It's bigger than the NHL. It's bigger than the PGA, NASCAR. We're crushing it. We're about to pass Major League Baseball as far as numbers go, right?
Wow.
Then, now, when you talk about numbers on views on this thing, take every sport on earth, combine all their numbers together, and multiply it by 4. Power Slap beats it. Isn't that fascinating?
Here's what the MMA community had to say. He talks so crazy about the numbers, but I've never heard anybody ask about this. If it wasn't promoted on the UFC page, it would get absolutely no looks. The next person I meet that watches Power Slap will be the first. Buddy on the left. Literally the worst sport on the planet, and there's no way any of this is true. How do I shut the bullshit meter off? It's maxed out. Sure, that's why Power Slap events are held in the conference room of an off-strip hotel and not Allegiant Stadium or even MGM. Why does Dana actually think people will believe this? It's so patently wrong and easily disproven. It's crazy that he thinks anyone is buying it. There's no chance Power Slap even comes close to the NFL, even in the offseason, or NBA in the middle of the playoffs. Dana's too comfortable not being confronted by real journalists. It's so big that they had to put it on Rumble. The same guy who hyped UFC 300 as one of the greatest cards ever is now raving about how huge Power Slap is. Dana White must be getting old. Bigger than every sport, not even 40k followers. Top comments. Bro, I'm so tired of Kobe getting any coverage nowadays. He needs to win a fight before another interview. Even Bilal wasn't that excited to hear the main event. Wow, when is Aljo gonna stop crying about Sean O'Malley? It's getting a little weird at this point. Colby is giving out Dalen Danis vibes lately.